Hi everybody, my name is Delson Denison.
My name is Ferdinand Reynard Francis Lengkap.
My name is Baxter Nathaniel Chow.
And my name is Pedro Leong.
Good evening, my name is Jericho Carlos.
So, hi everyone, welcome to the podcast. So, today we're talking about Malaysia labor market in 2025. So, overall, Malaysia job market has stayed strong and resilient. Employment reached 17.03 million in September 2025, and the unemployment rate remained stable at 3%. This shows that even with global economic uncertainties, the workforce is holding steady. Job growth is happening across many sectors: services, manufacturing, construction, agriculture, and mining. Unemployment to population ratio is around 68.8%, and the labor force participation rate is about 70.9%. Plus, more people are becoming self-employed, showing flexibility in work arrangements. So this data helps us understand how the Malaysian labor force is adapting and growing, moving towards stable economic growth after the post-pandemic recovery. So that's a quick look at Malaysia labor market, resilient, diverse, and moving forward.
Malaysia faces unemployment as a key macroeconomic issues, with 518,600 people unemployed in September 2025, despite the rate being described as stable. Economic impact. Unemployment causes wasted labor resources and prevent the economy from reaching its potential GDP. Economic indicator. High unemployment shows weaker economic performance as part of the labor forces, does not contribute to national income or consumption. Labor force. Although the labor force participation rate is 70.9%, about 7.21 million people remain outside the labor force, highlighting underutilization of labor.
Today, I briefly discuss Malaysia labor market condition in September 2025. According to the article, total employment reached 17.03 million, while the unemployment rate remained stable at 3%. This shows that Malaysia labor market continued to perform well despite global economic uncertainties. The article highlights that employment growth was mainly driven by the customer sector, particularly wholesale and retail trade, accommodation and food service, and information and communication. At the same time, job gains were also recorded across manufacturing, construction, agriculture, and mining, indicating a broad-based recovery. There was also an increase in self-employment, reflecting greater workforce adaptability and labor market flexibility. Overall, the media portrayed Malaysia's labor market as stable, resilient, and expanding, even in the face of external economic pressures.
I'm going to be talking about how employment is related to important economic concepts. Let's start with employment and aggregate demand. When employment increases, more people are earning income. This means households have more money to spend on goods and services. As a result, aggregate demand in the economy increases because people are buying more things such as food, transport, clothing, and entertainment. Now let's connect employment to GDP growth. When more people are employed, firms can produce more goods and services. This leads to higher production and output, which contribute into an increase in real GDP. So, employment growth is closely linked to economic growth. The article we look at showed that employment is rising across many sectors. We suggest that Malaysia's economic activity is expanding and the economy is operating at a healthy level. So next up, I'm going to be talking about how employment Further, I'm going to be talking about the employment rate. The employment rate remains at 3% and is considered quite low. This means that Malaysia is close to a full employment, where most people who are willing and able to work can find a job. A low employment rate also shows that there is limited cyclical employment, meaning the economy is not in a recession and businesses are hiring more workers.
Alright guys, moving on to solutions to these problems. First is the short-term monetary policy plays an important role in maintaining labour market stability. Bank Negara Malaysia can lower interest rates to encourage businesses to borrow and invest. When borrowing costs are lowered, firms are more likely to expand their operations, invest in new projects, and hire more workers. The risk of rising unemployment, especially during periods of economic uncertainty. Next, in the long term, policy should focus on strengthening human capital development, investment in education, skill training, and reskilling programs is crucial to reduce structural unemployment by ensuring that workers' skills match labor market needs, especially in high growth sectors such as digital services and technology. Malaysia can build a more acceptable and workforce that is ready for the future. In addition, institutions play a key role in implementing these measures. Bank Negara Malaysia supports economic growth while maintaining price stability through its monetary policy. At the same time, government ministers and labor agencies are responsible for planning and carrying out employment policies, and skills training programs. Effective coordination between these institutions is essential to ensure long-term labor market stability. So, moving on to conclusion. In conclusion, Malaysia's labor market performance in September 2025 reflects a stable and resilient economic environment. Total employment increased to 17.03 million persons, showing continuous job creation across key sectors such as services, manufacturing, and construction. This growth highlights the economy's ability to provide opportunities for both wage earners and self-employed individuals, contributing to positive income levels and productivity. Furthermore, the unemployment rate remaining at 3.0% suggests that labor market conditions have stabilized and are approaching pre-pandemic levels. The slight reduction in unemployment, together with steady labor force participation, shows that the economy is effectively absorbing new entrants into the workforce even amid global economic uncertainty. Overall, these employment trends indicate that Malaysia's labor market is on a positive and sustainable trajectory. Continued employment growth and stable unemployment levels reflect effective economic management and policy support, which are crucial for ensuring long-term economic stability, improving living standards, and supporting inclusive economic growth in the future. Thank you for listening, and I hope this benefits you.
Alright.